Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is Believe in the Hype. This is my first YouTube video I've ever done. I promise I will update the camera, and this is something I've always wanted to do to do reviews on stuff and ranking videos. Um, so I'm going to start off by doing the Nightmare on Elm Street. Why not? It's a very popular franchise. A lot of people know about it. This is going to be a ranking, not really a review. I will touch on movies, why I like them, why I don't like them. So let's get into it. Number 9 shouldn't be a surprise. It's Freddy's Dead. Now, when I was a kid watching this movie, I kind of liked it. To me, it was very entertaining as a kid. Now that I'm an adult, uh, not so much. There's a reason why this movie is very terrible. Now I'm not going to bash on it like a lot of people are. I think there is some things to this movie that are decent. It's not the greatest thing ever. Don't get me wrong, but I like um, how the town is like deserted. There's nobody in there except a couple of adults, and they're all crazy because Freddy killed all their kids. I like that part of it. Now, and I also like the little bit of the background that you get on Freddy. I know a lot of people don't like background when it comes to slashers. It kind of takes away from their evilness. But yes, but at the same time, this movie is very bad. No big surprise. Okay, so jumping right into it. Number 8 is Nightmare on Elm Street 5 Dream Child. Um, this movie, it's watchable, but it's pretty bad as well. The kills in this are actually pretty decent in my opinion. Freddy looks like crap. He really does. To me, the movie just doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. Um, at all. It makes no sense. The ending and how Freddy came back, it made no sense at all. Um, Now, once again, this kind of digs into Freddy's mythology a little bit on how he was born, um, his mom, like how she, I guess she got raped by 1,000 maniacs or 100 maniacs, one of the two. So that stuff is kind of interesting. Once again, a little bit of backstory on Freddy, but it's still pretty bad, actually, a bad movie. This is actually my wife's favorite Freddy movie. I have no idea why, but she likes this movie. Uh, like I said, it's watchable, but by no means the stretch of imagination is it a good Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So that's my number 8. Number 7 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now there is a lot of a debate on this one. Some people think it's good. Some people think it's bad. Some people just think it's a decent movie. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of boring to me. It's very slow pace. It's a pretty long movie too. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 2 hours long. And I mean, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like a movie within a movie. Freddy looks badass in this. He does. Now, I've heard a lot of people complain that there's really not a lot of kills, and there isn't. There's like 2 or 3 kills. Um, but it's a very interesting movie. I do not think it's that great. Some people probably have it higher on their list. Not me. So, New Nightmare, number 7. Number 6, Freddy vs. Jason. Now, I love Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason, I remember when this movie came out, I was there in theaters. I got it when it was released on, actually, that was back in the VHS days. Um, and I watched this movie constantly, every day, all day. I mean, I was a fanatic about this. This, Freddy vs. Jason really is why I'm a fan of slashers, the franchise, Friday 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a very entertaining movie. I know a lot of people wasn't that big of a fan of it. They thought it was going to be something different, but it wasn't. But I still enjoy this movie. I think the Freddy and Jason fight scenes are very entertaining. They were very well coordinated with the fights. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the Jason in that movie. I didn't mind the Jason. Yes, he's a little zombie-ish, but it didn't really bother me. The characters are okay. Some of them can be a little annoying. But as far as Freddy and Jason goes, awesome, badass, great fights, really good, cool ending. Wish they would make a Freddy versus Jason 2, but that probably is not going to happen. Number 5 is Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Now, this one, obviously, a lot of people know this story, this movie, and how gay it is. I'm not really going to get into that. I think most people know the story about that. And yes, there's some gay stuff in the movie. But honestly, if you look past that, it's a very entertaining movie. I find this movie pretty enjoyable. I don't have a problem with the second Nightmare on Elm Street. I think the characters are actually really good. I think Freddy is good in this movie. I think he's actually better in this one than in the original. I guess because he has more lines and he's still scary as hell. Um, I mean, there's some really cool stuff like when he's ripping through Jesse's body. That's probably the most memorable part. I know a lot of people didn't like when he killed all the kids at the pool party because it kind of breaks the rules. And I get that. The third act is pretty good. When Freddy dies, that's a really cool scene with like his skin's melting off and stuff. The graphics on that is really good. Um, so I don't really mind this movie. I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people probably have this a little lower on their list, but I like this movie. So Freddy's Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge is my fifth. Number 4. Now let's let the controversy begin. Number 4 is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. Yes, this is my number 4. I know a lot of people have this at number 1, maybe number 2. I, Look, I understand what this movie represents. I understand its legacy, and yes, it's as far as legacies go, this movie should be in a fucking horror museum. Yes, but I'm sorry to tell you guys, this movie is a tad overrated for me. I didn't. A lot of people want to, rave about Nancy. Nancy is not that good in this movie, in my opinion. She's a lot better on Dream Warriors than in the first one. The acting in this one is not that good. Outside of the dad, who is the sheriff, and Johnny Depp, the acting in this movie is pretty bad, in my opinion. Yes, Freddy is very cool. He's very creepy in this. He's very scary. I love, hey Nancy, no running in the hallway. I always loved that part as a kid. Um, of course, the body bag dragging in the hallway, that's always very memorable. Um, but I don't know. It's just, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's not. It's a great movie. I just think it's a little overrated. Um, but it's a good movie. Um, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, you know, but yeah, to me, it's good, but I just don't think it's as good as what people think it is. In my opinion, it's a little boring. Honestly, I would have Freddy's Revenge probably above this one, but Freddy's Revenge as a whole is not as good of a movie as the original. That's why I have it above Freddy's Revenge. But as far as entertainment value, Freddy's Revenge to me is more entertaining. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, to me is just a tad boring in moments. And I think the acting and the characters are a little overrated. So that's number 4. Number 3, yes, number 3 is Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake. Yes, I have the remake above the original, folks. I'm sorry. Um, I know a lot of people hated this movie, absolutely hated it, but I'm going to defend it. I think this movie is actually one of the better remakes there is when it comes to the slashers. I loved Freddy in this movie. When I first watched it, this movie kind of grows on you the more you watch it. I like the characters in this movie. I know a lot of people don't. I think the acting is good. Um, I forget the guy that plays Freddy. I believe his name is Charles Haley. I believe. I can't. I'm sorry if I can't remember that. But I think he did a great job. He has some really good one-liners in this, like when he's petting like when you find the dog dead and he's all clawed up, and he's like, "I'm just petting him," and he starts laughing. Um, I like what they did to this movie. I know a lot of people don't like how they really dove into the child molesting thing, like it just hits you right in the face. Yeah, it can make you a little uncomfortable. But once again, they had to do it. They had to do something different in this, or it would just be the same old stuff you've already seen before. And for the most part, it is. Yes, they do rip off some lines from previous movies, um, but I don't. To me, I've always liked this movie. The more I watch it, the more I like it. I think it's very entertaining. I think the acting is good. The the CGI is really good. I mean, the dream sequences in this are probably the best you're ever going to find. Um, is it a perfect movie? No, it's not. There is some issues with this. Like I said, when I first watched this, I did not like the child molesting thing. I always felt like, Freddy is a child killer, not a child molester. Um, but like I said, it grows on you, in my opinion, the more you watch it. And I find this movie very enjoyable. What can I say? So, yes, I know there's probably going to be people in the comments. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? What the fuck's your problem? Sorry. Hey, this is going to be a very controversial channel, guys. I'm going to have a lot of opinions that are just going to be way out there. So this is why I really wanted to kick things off with Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, and let's just keep it rolling. Number two, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. This movie, a lot of people have it at one or two. This is my number two. Freddy, really good in this movie. The characters. Nancy comes back in this one, like I mentioned earlier. She's a lot more. Her acting has got a lot better for this movie. All the other characters are really good. There's not really a downside to this movie. There's no character that's like, man, I can't stand that guy or I can't stand that girl. All these characters are very good. You like seeing them on screen. Very good kills. Freddy's awesome in this. This is the Freddy I think that everybody really likes. He's still scary, but at the same time, he's kind of funny a little bit in moments. And I think a lot of people like that. Um, I mean, and you got some pretty famous people in this. I can't remember the guy's name. He was kind of a orderly, the black guy. I cannot remember. Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie. Um, so it's a very good movie. It is. Like I said, really good dream sequences. The ending is actually really good. I know the Freddy skeleton coming out and fighting, a little cheesy. It's kind of outdated, but the third act is actually really good, and I really enjoyed that they had Amanda Kruger. Um, she was a ghost, and that was kind of interesting to find out that throughout the whole movie that the doctor was actually talking to Freddy's mother, and she was a ghost. I thought that was a very cool twist. So, number two, Dream Warriors. Very good movie. Cannot go wrong with that. Very enjoyable. Number one, this is going to be controversy as well because this movie that I'm about to say, and if you're keeping up, you know what it is. A lot of people would have this kind of in the middle, but sorry guys, my number one is Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. I love this movie. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this was actually the first Freddy movie I ever watched, and that might be why I like it so much. A lot of people blame this one for what is to come in Dream Child and Freddy's Dead, how he becomes a comedian. I don't. Freddy is awesome in this. If you watch these movies just for Freddy, this is the one. Freddy's in this movie most of the time. I mean, yes, how he comes back with the dog piss is very weird. It's out there. But like when he is actually coming back, his bones are getting reconnected and his skin is growing back. That's an awesome scene. Great kills in this. Um, he he does kill off the first three, the three that survived in Dream Warriors, um, and those kills are actually very good. And it introduces the new crew, the new people that kind of take over the franchise. Um, I love the girl in this one, the final girl. Um, I think she is really great in this. The acting in this one's pretty good, and I love the kills in this. Once again, I think none of the characters to me are really annoying. There is a couple of cheesy things like the brother. He's like a kung fu guy. That's a little corny. But my favorite scene in this movie is the theater scene, and I don't really hear that getting mentioned a whole lot. I love that scene where she's dreaming and she's in a theater, and I love that scene. Like she gets pulled into the movie, and that's when she gets at the restaurant. And she sees herself as an old lady working at the restaurant, and then like you see like the audience clapping, and it's actually all the people that Freddy has killed in the movie already. I always love that movie, that scene. I always found it a little creepy as well. The third act to me is pretty good. Once again, I think it's actually not bad how Freddy dies in this one. Is it as good as three? No, but it's still very good. Um, to me, this movie, in my opinion, this is the most entertaining, and that's I go based on that. What when I watch a movie or a TV show, what do I find entertaining? There are movies out there, and there's like that's why I have the original four. To me, it's a little, just a tad boring. The Dream Master is not boring at all, in my opinion. Um, so, I mean, that's all I can really say. There's my list, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos. I already have a lot of ideas. Um, so please check it out. So subscribe, comment, and let me know your opinion. I already have a pretty good idea on what people would have on their list. I've watched a lot of other people's Nightmare on Elm Street ranking, but I think mine is by far the most different. And I think a lot of people is going to enjoy that. It's not going to be the same ranking video that you've seen time and time again. So let me ask you guys: do you believe in the hype? Um, Hope you do. Signing off.